Hi guys, hello and welcome back to another video right here on the channel. So it's the first week of a new month, which means only one thing, and that is your new retro top 10. So I did have an actual schedule going all the way through till next year, and it was all planned. And then I got into a conversation with two people, Mr. Not Suitable for Mum, Mr. Jason, our pal there, hi Jace, and an old pal of mine from a long time ago, many moons ago, Carl. And both these guys got talking to me with regards to making a Commodore Amiga top 10. So January had the Spectrum, February last month had the Commodore 64, so this month is going to have the Amiga, next month is going to have the Atari ST, and then from after that we're going to go on to the consoles. I can't even think what the months are. May. Okay, so for May, we're going to go on probably the NES and the Master System and so on. Okay, guys, listen, so sit back, as always, grab a cuppa and enjoy this little bit of a walk down memory lane, Amiga style. Okay, guys, so in at number 10 is Cannon Fodder. I absolutely love this game. There was nothing else like it at the time. You basically went along and you run like a little platoon of soldiers. And what you had to do is it was like a point and click. So you basically pointed, and wherever you pointed, they'd run to. I think it was like left mouse button moved the soldiers, right mouse button fired. You had like a little target over the screen there. So you basically put that over the other guys, over the enemies. Click your right mouse button and you fire. I think if you held onto the button, you throw a grenade. And like the idea was basically to complete missions. So you basically start off and you have to go around and do something and, you know, get extracted and stuff like that. So that was Cannon Fodder, an amazing piece of fun. Little keynote at the time, it did cause quite a bit of controversy because part of the intro, I think, actually upset the British Legion. I think there was the use of a poppy on there as well, which was obviously meant in a respectful manner. But hey ho, that was the press of the 90s. Number 9, Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker. I love this. As a kid, growing up with my dad, I used to watch some of the big snooker finals on the telly and stuff like that. Steve Davis, Hurricane Higgins and stuff like that. And I think it was Carl, my mate, who I mentioned at the top of the programme there. And he come round one night and he said, have a look at this. So we put it on, and I'll be honest, I played it and I was never really much good at it. Not through lack of trying, it was just, I just wasn't great at it. But Carl was really good, you know, so I'd always avoid them when I could in two-player games because I wouldn't get my arse handed back to me. But you know what? It was a good little experience as well. And the really little quirky thing about the game as well is if you left it too long, say if you got up and went for a brew or answered the door or something, the balls would grow like little eyes and little hands and start pulling faces at you and stuff. And I think like a little fly used to come and land on the screen. So it was injected with humour. Number 8, Lemmings. Oh my word, Lemmings. If a game could ever keep you up at night, it was this one. I got it with my Amiga. I got that in like Deluxe Paint, I think, and Bart Simpson, a couple of other games. And it was like the ultimate puzzler. It was so cute that you just had to carry on playing. The idea being it's just multiple levels. I think there's like about 50 levels or something. And they were broken down into like easy, medium, hard, you know. And what you have to do is you have to basically... You had like a set of icons and you'd have like, say, so many bridges, so many bombs, that kind of thing. And you'd have to like guide the lemmings from like where they dropped into the screen from like their little hut or home or whatever to like another point, usually like miles across the screen where you had to build bridges and all sorts. I remember one night, I can't remember what level it was, but I got playing it stupidly before I went to bed and I couldn't do it. And obviously you get frustrated, don't you? You know, as is life. And I actually was lying there and I woke up in a cold sweat and I thought, I've got it. So I jumped up, got changed, threw a t-shirt or whatever, fired the computer up in the front room, sat there, and my plans just went to pieces. And I went back to bed even more frustrated than first time round. Hell of a game, still stands up even today. Number 7, Wings. This was, I used the term a lot, nothing like it at the time, but this was absolutely great. It was like a flight simulator, but it was like an arcade flight simulator. And you're like, I don't know, it was like the RAF. But anyway, you signed up and like you had to go on like these little sorties and you'd be like dog fighting. And I think there was like sections later on where you could strafe, you know, do like bombing runs and stuff like that. And that was like top down, I think. So you sort of fly along and you drop your bombs on wherever your target was and stuff. But for me, it was the aerial dogfights, and you'd be gutted because you come down, you'd land after like, you know, your mission, and you'd have like, I don't know, say 3 kills, and then you go back up on like your next mission, and you end up killed, and that was you. You'd be, you know, And there's nothing worse really, going on a run and then all of a sudden being, you know, shot down. But yeah, I think it was World War One. I think they were biplanes, but hey ho, really, really good game. Number 6, talking to shooters, the amazing Project X. This probably would have been higher if I'd have been better at it. I got it and I loved it. At the time, I wasn't a shooter fan. It's ironic. In later life now, I tend to prefer shoot-em-ups a lot more than I did when I was younger. But yeah, this was really hard. It was known for being a really hard game, but it also had that just grip you, just one more go, you know. Yeah, not much more I can say about it. Lovely graphics, lovely music, and just a hell of a game. Number 5, Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge. This was great. It was great. It was just your usual kind of computer racer, you know, like where you're like racing into the screen and stuff. It had like a split screen. So if you're in like one player, you'd have like the top half of the screen, as you can see now in the video, and the bottom half is like the car, like your mechanics. But basically, you know, you'd be sitting next to your mate, and like you'd be on the top half of the screen, your mate would be on the bottom, and like, you know, you're like head-to-head racing. It was just great. It was like a really good waste of time. And I mean, who doesn't like a Lotus Esprit? You know, I've been in love with him since, you know, like the James Bond films and stuff like that. Was it The Spy Who Loved Me? The one turned into a submarine, but I'm going off track now. Yeah, really, really good racing game. Kudos. And do you know what? I only played it recently, a couple of months ago, and it's still got it. Just a joystick. Your fire button drives. I used to put it in auto gears because I've never been great at driving games. Left and right to steer, and off you go. Absolutely fantastic. Number 4. Dungeon Master, the immortal Dungeon Master. I can hear, like, certainly Carl screaming at the screen now, why wasn't this number 1? And I'll tell you why it wasn't number 1. A bit like Project X. Carl sat there for many a night and he was brilliant at it, my mate. He'd completed it. And it's basically, it's like your role-playing game at a time that was like, computer games really needed it. And it was just brilliant. You know, you'd walk in, it was like a sort of 3D maze, and you'd have like, I think it was either 10 or 12, I think it was 10 levels. Like you'd walk around and you'd go through like a little sort of a hall of, like a hall of legends, and you pick like your 4 characters. I'm not sure, I think you may be able to rename them as well. And what you'd do is you'd get them, and then the game, as you can see on the screen, is like from a first person perspective. So what you do is you basically go along and you've got like icons on the screen. So you're pressing like the up arrow to move forward and like left and right and stuff like that. Combat depended on, it was really clever. It had like an order. So you'd actually set like your party out. So you'd have like, say, your warriors at the front and like your magic users at the back and stuff. And you'd come into all kinds of enemies. I think I may have got to about maybe the 3rd or 4th level. That was like literally me, but at the time, I'd got involved with a group of guys and played D&D on a Friday night. And so the whole like warrior and wizard thing was like fairly new to me, but I loved it. It shows its age a little bit now, you know, it does, without a shadow of a doubt, but for what it done, I think it's sort of like, is a pre-bearer to things like Eye of the Beholder and other massive franchises back in the day. So yeah, Dungeon Master, well worth a look, and my number 4. Number 3, Rick Dangerous. I love this game. Do you know what? I was playing it only a few weeks ago. It's absolutely amazing. If you think it's like a comedy take on Indiana Jones, as you can see on the screen there, you're like aforementioned character, Rick, and you're basically raiding sort of temples and tombs, and it's a platformer of the cruelest type. It's one of them games where you'll run through a level 100 times and have to remember where all the little traps are and the baddies and all that, but you know, it's got such a charm, an absolute charm about it, honestly. It's so damn playable. You'll tear your hair out. You know, literally, you will. You just, but it's that one more go factor, and that's why it's so high. Rick Dangerous, number 3. Number 2, RODLAND. You're looking at it on the screen now, aren't you? And you think, there's no way, and I'm going to put my sexist hat on for a second, there's no way a guy could rate this game or even play this game so highly. Look at all the little flowers and little fairies and all that, but I tell you what, it's such a playable game. There's so many levels, quite literally, as well as, you know, gameplay-wise, to this. It's just an absolutely charming little platformer. The little fairy, I think there's something like tail, like she's trying to get back to her mum or something like that. And, you know, you're running around, it's very, very Bubble Bobble-esque. You're running around across platforms and, like, you know, you're collecting little flowers and stuff like that. And I think if you press the fire button and push up and down, you fire up like a little ladder for you to go up and down the platforms. And if you don't, you have like, I'm not sure it's like a little lasso, but you can kind of grab hold of the enemies and repeated pressing flicks them over your head and back over again, and you destroy them. Just absolutely, it's wickedly deceptive. It's so sickeningly cute, but wickedly deceptive. Honestly, it really is. And it still stands up even today as one of the best platform games I've ever played. Hence the fact it's rated so high. Number 1, here we are. And I can hear people screaming, where's Sensi Soccer? Left off the list, mate. That's where it is. There was basically one slot for football game in the top 10. There were many choices. There was the John Barnes football. The one was for the, I think it was Euros in 1992. There was Sensible Soccer, Sensible World of Soccer, and many other football games I played on the Amiga. But for me, this is the one. It's perfection. Again, joystick and one fire button. You'd have to like run up to the ball and keep hold of the fire button before you arrive to trap the ball. You pull in your direction, let go, and you release a pass. Shooting was the same. You'd have to shoot and then you have to like after touch, you pull left or right to kind of bend the ball around the keeper. And I fell in love with this game. It was one of them. Carl brought it up one night on should we say a dodgy disc and leave it there. And I played it all night and I was so damn frustrated. I couldn't trap a ball, I couldn't score goals. I was losing like 3 or 4-0 to like brackets easier teams and stuff until I actually got it. And I think one of my favourite memories of kickoff was I used to hang around with a great group of guys back in the day, and there's one of our mates, one of Carl and I's mates, Brian, and Brian was like the best player I think I've ever met at kickoff, you know what I mean? And he'd like hammer Carl, and I'm sure Carl wouldn't even mind me saying it, and he pretty much hammered everybody, and I hadn't got round to playing him, and everyone was like, oh, play Brian. I'm like, nah, because I'm going to get my arse kicked, you know. And I played the game an awful lot, and that particular day I plucked up the courage to play the man himself, and I come away with a 1-0 defeat and a worthy handshake. So it was one of those games, it was the ultimate game, in my opinion. The practice makes perfect. Does it stand up today? To me, it does. It does all day long, and it's probably one of the best football games I've played. And I can hear people screaming, FIFA. Nah, not for me. FIFA's got its place, it's great, and that's a different video, but I still think this game stands up. Graphically, no, maybe not, because obviously things have moved on now. Games now, football games, like watching them on Sky, aren't they? On like Xbox and whatever. But no, that was why it was my number 1. You know, I say it beat out RODLAND and it beat out Dungeon Master. And I say, I'd like to think that the other 10 games on this list, well, the other 9 to make up the 10, are my all-time favourite. Welcome back. So I hope that you really enjoyed that top 10 there. Leave me a comment below. Did I miss anything? No doubt other people are going to have like a different number 1. But, you know, like all these top 10s, the games that I played, you know, along the way, and they're my own personal favourite top 10. Okay, so like I said at the beginning of the show there, be sure to tune in next month for the Atari ST top 10. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, like, share, and leave a comment below. As always, you returning folks, much love. Thank you. I'll see you all next month for another retro feature right here on the channel.